evening to all of you. I believe uh, the participants we have 23 of them. I believe most of them are from outside Dhaka. Naid bhai, is that
Yeah,
true?
yes, most of them.
Because I can see some faces who are based in outside Dhaka. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Shaun Kormakar. I manage the English language programs at the USMC Dhaka. I'm so,
Okay, sir.
so
Uh,
just give me 10 seconds. I'll grab a glass of water.
Yeah, sure.
okay, sir. I would like to say something. You to inaugurate our program, please, sir.
Sure. So I have been talking. I know Nahid Bhai for a long time, and so my if I talk about my career, some of you already know. I started my career with British Council English team. So I have been working with the English programs, English teachers for quite a long time now, for about 12 years, and I know all the teacher trainer teaching English teachers organizations associations in the country who are doing a great job, but at the same time, uh, no organization has done a great job in reaching out teachers, especially primary school teachers and some high school teachers outside Dhaka. So I have always been, you can say, forcing the English language teachers associations uh, to reach out to the primary school teachers, the high school teachers from outside Dhaka, from the peripheral districts, because those are the teachers who need more opportunities, more network, and more attention. So when you are in teaching, of course you have the motivation, and that's why you prefer to choose this occupation. But at the same time, teaching is more like medical science. Every day on a daily basis, the science is changing. The science is being updated. The the pedagogical science. So if you don't have the opportunity to update yourself, then definitely you'll be lacking a lot of skills. You'll be falling behind in the race with other teachers. And teachers outside Dhaka, they always have this objection or complaint that they don't get enough opportunity to develop their professional skills, which is absolutely true. But at the same time, it is also about having proper knowledge what things are available. For example, from the US Embassy, we, or I should say, I because I have the authority to promote and nominate teachers for, particularly for the online courses. Nahid Bhai knows it very well. Uh, I never focus on Dhaka. So
Yeah,
whenever I reach out to these English teachers associations, I always tell them, please help me reach out to, or help us reach out to teachers who are from outside Dhaka. So in last 2 years, we have, through our online programs, we have reached out to number of teachers from the hill tracts, from very remote areas in Shunamganj, in Howrah areas. So uh, a huge thanks to a person like Nahid Bhai. So he is not only a good teacher, a good teacher trainer. I consider him as an institution. So he has been doing such a good job on behalf of NIAM. So you must be wondering what sort of online programs I was talking about. So from the US Embassy, we have number, or I should say, State Department of State. We have number of courses. One of them is MOOC. So if you have a laptop screen in front of you, you can just search it right now. All you have to do is to go to Google, and you have to write current MOOCs. MOOC, M-O-O-C, M-O-O-C, MOOCs. So MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Courses. So when you go to the MOOCs, you will see, so this is kind of a transition period for MOOCs, because in December, a lot of the courses end, and at the same time, when the courses will end, right after that, all the new courses will start. So when you go to MOOC, you will see a number of courses. For example, courses like English for teacher trainers, English for teachers, teaching young learners, English for career development, English for media literacy, English for journalism, English for tourism. So Nahid Bhai just shared the link. So what these courses do is that these courses help the participants get English related to all these topics. For example, if somebody is doing a MOOC on English for business and entrepreneurship, so the participant will get a lot of topics which will discuss things related to business and entrepreneurship, proposal, idea generating and stuff. But at the same time, these courses will help the participants develop their English. So as teachers, if you are teaching with young learners, not young learners, I should say, like high school students or secondary school students or higher secondary school students, I would really recommend that you promote these courses, because at this these courses will help your students get better at English. At the same time, at the end of the course, the students will get free certificate. So these courses will not only help you, I would first recommend these courses for you, all the courses which are relevant for your profession, do it. And at the same time, promote these courses for your students, because all these courses are free. The other course that we have, which is like a little bit higher, and at the same time, this is not freely accessible for everybody, because we need to nominate, and we only get very limited amount of slots, which is called Open Online Professional English Network. But for that, we only get 12 to 15 slots every semester, every term, like every 3 months. So that course is basically developed by different universities, different very renowned universities in the United States. For example, University of Iowa. They created a topic which is called teaching grammar to young students, or English medium instruction, or creating and implementing online courses. So there are like 10 topics. All these courses are very expensive. From the embassy, we have to pay $1,000 for each course. And that is why we always try to select teachers who would be motivated enough to do the courses, because to do these courses on a daily basis, you have to spend like 40 minutes to 1 hour on a daily basis. You have to, otherwise you will not be able to pass the course. So, a lot of teachers that they take the courses, oh, this is just this is just another free course. This is not like that. If somebody completes the open course, they become a lifetime alumni of US Embassy. And this is a huge, I should say, recognition. And at the same time, you get to develop a global network, because you become a part of the open network. And this is very helpful. And at the same time, the amount of learning you can get out of these courses is huge. But the problem is, on the flip side, if somebody drops out, somebody doesn't complete the course, then in the next term, we get one slot less, because somebody didn't do the course. And that is why it is very important for me to work with people like Nahid Bhai, or somebody from Belta, or somebody from TEFL BD, or somebody from what is the other organization? That's Nahid Bhai.
I mean, do you want to mean the one Mohit by admin staff?
GASD. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So all these organizations. So I have very good friendship with all these English teachers networks associations. I don't have any special affinity towards anybody because all these teacher networks are meant to help teachers, which is definitely the motto of English, the U.S. Embassy's American Center as well. So why I am saying this whole thing is that in the long run, if you are interested in doing the open courses or MOOCs, please reach out to me. You can also reach out to Nahid Bhai. Basically, Nahid Bhai also, I share with him the nominations whenever these are open, and he helps me reach out to different teachers. So in the long run, if you are interested, please reach out to me. This is going to be a very good resource for you. And at the same time, for example, today I got one email that we'll be nominating a huge number of English teachers for the virtual TESOL conference, which will take place from April 3, 4, 3 to 5, I guess. So we will be nominating a lot of teachers for that as well. So if you're interested, do write to me. By attending the conference, you not only get to enjoy the sessions, at the same time you become a member of TESOL for a year, which itself is a big recognition for you as an English teacher and to be a part of the TESOL program. Uh, I have been speaking for a long time. I wouldn't linger my uh, speech any further, but before finishing, I want to say one thing. So all these teacher organizations are voluntary organizations. So what happens with the voluntary organizations is that at the beginning, the teachers, the participants, the members, they have very high hope, they have very high energy, but gradually the energy drops and the activities also get less day by day. But my request to you, all the teachers, would be, since you are being a member of this BDTFL, which is a brilliant initiative, please try to stick around. You guys are brothers and sisters, and no other teacher will understand the pain that English teachers have to go through. And whenever you are united, you get access to all these resources. There are a number of resources freely available for English teachers. I'm sure no other teacher, no other subject teacher, for example, maths teacher or science teacher or Bangla teacher, no other teacher gets as much as training opportunities as English teachers do. And that is why English teachers are smarter than others. They have more pedagogical understanding than others. And literally, they are the Brahmins. I shouldn't be using this word, but in any school, you want to check your pedagogical skill, you go to the English teachers because they are better trained than other teachers. But at the same time, you need to know what resources are available. Please try to stick around with this type of volunteer organizations. A person like me who works for the embassy, and my job is just to bring in all the opportunities from Washington or Nepal, because our regional English language office is based in Relo, in Nepal. So my job is to bring in all the opportunities to Bangladeshi teachers. So I cannot reach out to all of you, but I can reach out to all these English teacher associations, and definitely the opportunities will trickle down to you at the end of the day. Thank you so much, and thanks again to Nahid Bhai for this brilliant uh, idea, this brilliant opportunity for offering this opportunity to the teachers. And my request to Nahid Bhai would be, please, in the long run, do some MOOC camps, do some training sessions, do engage our fellows, because those of you who don't know, we have currently 2 English language fellows. These fellows, they come here in Bangladesh from the United States, and they work for universities for 10 months. And also we from the embassy sponsor the whole fellowship. Currently, we have two fellows. One is Alan, the second is Mimi. They're working in North South University and Brack University. But as part of their secondary job, they are free. They can work with other teachers. They can run sessions for other teachers. So in the long run, Nahid Bhai, please engage them. Thank you so much. Over to you, Deepali.
Thank you, sir, for your nice delivering speech. We hope that this webinar will be fruitful and effective for the participants. Let's start our webinar. As we already know that our today's webinar is on Vocabulary Olympiad, an alternative way to get students engaged in learning vocabulary. Respected participants, if you have any questions on the presentation, please write it on chat box. Please don't ask any question during the presentation. Again, I like to say that if you any question, please write it on the chat box, and during this session, everyone please mute your microphone now, and these questions will be answered on the questions and answer session. Now I'm going to introduce our presenter, Mr. Razan Mahmood. Razan Mahmood is a graduate of English majoring in ULT from Daffodil International University, is teaching in a secondary school. He taught some renowned English medium schools in middle years. He has selected for the distinguished Fulbright TAA and UC exchange program. His areas of interest include developing culturally appropriate materials for contextualized vocabulary. Now, I would like to request Rajan Mahmood, please start your presentation. Over to you, sir, Mazun Mahmood.
Thank you, Deepa Adhikari Madam, for an excellent and brief introduction. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here this evening. First, I would like to thank Honorable Nahid Firdaus Bhuiya sir for bringing actual classroom practitioner from the primary, secondary, college level under this umbrella, which we call BD TEFL. I would also express my sincere gratitude to today's chief guest, Shaun Kormukar, English Language Program Coordinator, US Embassy Dhaka, for making his time and being with us. Thank you so much, sir, and all the audience for attending today's webinar. From the very beginning, I was really excited to know from Nahid sir about the series entitled Best Practices from BD English Teacher. It is an initiative that allows current English language teachers to share their best practices, identify the issues they face in the classrooms, and put forward suggestions which are in line with ELT theories. Let me begin. We cannot but agree that learners from an EFL setting like Bangladesh face numerous obstacles to learn English. In our country, students basically mainly for rural areas struggle to communicate in English. And I have that experience because I'm working in a rural area in Meherpur district, which is near Indian border. Most often, it happens that my student, when I ask them to write or speak, ask me the English, a very common word like afraid. They say that, sir, what is the English of boy? So it's a very common questions. From that point of view, I started this program. I mean, this project, and it took me a long time, and finally I arranged this this project. So, Deepa Madam, am I allowed to share the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
you have
sir.
been made co-host. You are allowed to share your screen
Okay, thank you.
and PowerPoint slide as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I'm not going to introduce myself once again, as you have already got some information about me. I'm just jumping into my uh, slides, I mean, main point. Rationale of vocabulary Olympiad. So why did I select this project? There are a couple of reasons that I have included here. The first one is English phobia among the learners in rural area. Our learners fear English as they are unable to understand and use it. And if you ask the reason, they will simply answer you that they don't know the words. I mean, they don't have enough vocabulary to express themselves, which lead to the second point. Uh, Second point is demonstrate low performance in English. Since they fear English, they don't feel motivated to participate and learn this language. And that is why they fail to communicate in English, or they gain a very little knowledge on how to use it. For example, mm, according to CERF, a common European framework of reference, basic users, basically there are two types of, two levels of basic users. One is A1 and A2. A1 basic user can introduce uh, himself or him and other, and can ask and answer questions about personal details such as where he or she lives, people he or she knows, and things that he or she has. And level 2 basic user can describe in simple terms aspect of his or her background, immediate environment, matters in areas of immediate need. Unfortunately, our scenario is different. Even after completing secondary education, most of our students fail to talk about their background, let alone immediate environment. The next point is developing both receptive and productive skills. It happens when students fail to grasp the meaning of a text, I mean, reading passages or comprehension. Because of the lack of vocabulary, they become really demotivated in learning the language. And we know that our students spend a considerable amount of time in learning grammar. Even we, the teacher, spend a considerable amount of time in teaching grammar. But unfortunately, when we ask them to give another example, except apart from our example that we use in the classroom, they fail to produce. Thus, my aim was to support them to develop the other skills. I mean, listening, reading, writing, and speaking as well. The next aim was to enhance their 21st century skills, and I'll be talking about it later on. Now, is there any necessity of teaching vocabulary? If we ask the teacher, definitely we'll get the answer is yes. And here I have included the three reasons why teaching vocabulary is necessary. One is vocabulary is the key to communication. Second, strong vocabulary allows learners to develop other skills. And finally, the more the words the learner know, the more they will learn. So if the learners have enough vocabulary, they will be able to communicate in English, or at least they will try to use the learned vocabulary in a new context. Now, let's have a look at what linguists say about vocabulary. Lewis in 1993 said, lexics, I mean the phrases and word and phrases, is the core or heart of a language. Then Paul Nations in 1994 said, vocabulary is not an end in itself. A rich vocabulary makes the skill of listening, speaking, reading, and writing easier to perform. That means learning vocabulary enables the learners to use the language itself. And I love this one. Emerite Professor of Applied Linguistics at the University of Wellington, David Wilkins, in 1972 wrote, while without grammar, little can be conveyed, without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. So once again, vocabulary, from here we can understand that vocabulary is the most important aspect of learning to communicate in a language. Now, I selected English for Today book from where I selected all the words. So reason for selecting this textbook. The first reason is that this is an academic course book, textbook, and it is must for everyone and is free. And second, it has been designed and developed by a list of ELT expert from our country and published by National Curriculum and Textbook Board, NCTB. And they have designed the textbook with graded vocabulary and learning activities for each class the student should learn. Another reason is academic success. Since it is an academic textbook, students feel motivated to study it if they are encouraged by us with the teacher. And the most important point here is this textbook is often skipped and vocabulary is often ignored. Uh, Often skipped means reading skill is not focused as the teacher as well as the student only study the notebooks for getting good grades. Another concern is only a limited number of vocabulary is focused. Sometimes contextualized meaning is ignored, which is really important to know. And for all these reasons, I selected their EFT, English for Today textbook, as a source of all the words that I listed for the Olympiad, vocabulary Olympiad. Now, here is the banner which I used in my, during the competition. Is textbook-based vocabulary and spelling competition 2022. This was the title of my Olympiad. I actually divided the activities I and my student did into three phases. One is pre-task. In pre-task, there are two issues, two areas. One is creating the environment, and second one is having a clear framework. I'm just giving the list here. I'll be talking about all those stuff later on. Then the during task is the first stage is preparing the students, and under this there are some classroom activities, things to remember, and there were some mock competitions, and the second one is the grand finale. And the posters, there were prize given ceremonies and kind of class party. So the whole program, there was preparation, performance, achievements, as well as celebration. And now creating the environment, the first point was taking time and making them feel comfortable. Initially, I did not announce that there would be competition. I took my time and I tried to feel my student comfortable so that they enjoyed what they were doing during this practice activities. I didn't want to put a lot of burden, so I took time and make them feel comfortable. The second point is making them aware of the importance of vocabulary learning. After 1 or 2 weeks of practicing, I started to raise this question to my student that why they were afraid of English, why they couldn't perform well in English. The simple answer, once again, I got. They told me that they don't know the word which they want to express. So I took the chance and tried to make them understand the importance of vocabulary in learning English. I ensured, quote, if you know the vocabulary, your performance will be better, not only in this class, class 8 or grade 8, but also in later stage in your life. Then another point here is in this phase is motivate them to participate. So uh, next I shared, initially I didn't share or announced the title, I mean, or the program, but later I shared the dream of arranging a vocabulary and a spelling competition. I always encouraged them to participate in the competition, and my ultimate goal was to involve each and every student of my class, those who were attending. Therefore, I planned two different categories of activities where everyone would be able to participate and claim a prize. Another thing I did, I even before starting classroom practices, I showed them what type of prizes they would prefer to have, mainly images of medal, books, and trophies. Mm, and I took their suggestions. I just raised the question that what type of prize you would prefer, you would prefer. 2 months before the competition, I bought all the prizes, and every every time I entered my classroom, I entered with prizes. Some of my teachers, my colleagues said that, are you crazy? What are you doing? You are just, carrying all the prizes every time you entered the class. But I had one thing in my mind, that I would engage my student, and these prizes worked as an extrinsic motivation for learning the words. And finally, let's have a feast. And it was a part of my motivation. I encouraged them to have a feast together. Since I plan to have this competition at the end of this of the academic year, I told them to make some memories, since they are not going to get the same year in their whole life. So I tell them, let's celebrate. So I knew that there were some students who were not much interested or motivated to participate in the competition, but they were interested to have the party. So I wanted to ensure their involvement in the whole program as well. Now, having have a clear framework. So before starting the practice, I selected my item. For example, I selected the word, then I wanted them to memorize the word as well as how to use them. Then I wanted them to memorize the synonyms, spelling, and one thing I kept in my mind, that only memorizing the words and synonyms wouldn't help. So, for example, there are different chapters in our textbooks, and each chapter contains different set of vocabularies. Therefore, the chances of vocabulary being repeated is very rare. So, sentence making, which initially is very challenging, but uh, I thought that this sentence making would allow them to uh, use the learned vocabulary in a new context. So I give them a list of words, as you can see on the right side of my slide. There were the root words. There are the root words as well as the synonyms. I didn't mm, give the meaning at the very beginning. Now, preparing the student, in initial phase, uh, I did two types of activities. I mean, I as well as my student. So there are two types of classroom activities. One was led by the student, as well as another one is led by the uh, student. First, I selected individual student randomly and asked them to tell the meaning, or the spelling. Initially, I focused on meaning or spelling rather than sentence making, because I knew that uh, most of my students most of the students belong to uh, mediocre as well as uh, lower level. So I didn't focus on making sentences as well as the synonymous word. So later on, I allow my student to select their friend and ask them the meaning as well as the spelling. So in this way, we practiced. I mean, the classroom activities went on. Later on, I arranged short competition between boys and girls. Since my school is a combined school, so uh, I got the opportunity. Maybe you may not get the opportunity, so you need to select two different groups of a student. And then in the competition, I let uh, two students, one from boys and another one from girls, to write down their marks on the board. uh, and I asked them I mean I asked them to tell them the meaning as well as the spelling of the word. After doing these practices for a couple of classes, I let the uh, student to select their friends. I mean, it was their part. So I just, I mean, sat in front of them, and they conducted the whole competition. It was full of fun and really exciting. The second point here, during this classroom activities, there was a part of team leader and member selection. I actually let my student decide, because it was their competition, not mine. So but what I always did, I monitored if there was any domination. I even talked to individual team leader about their team member selection, whether they were happy with their team or not. And in my competition, there were 4 team members, and each consisting of 3 members. One is team leader, another one is another 2 members for each team. Actually, members were selected by the team leader, and I just approved, checked and approved. Nice, sir. Am I going very fast, or is it okay?
That's all right. Yeah.
Okay, then most important thing here, that there are couple of issues that I was really always careful about. One is providing contextual meaning. Let me share one interesting thing. When I was attending training, most probably 12 days online training arranged by NIAM, and one of my colleagues from class 9 textbook, he said that is address is detail of where somebody or someone lives or work. But in the textbook, address was used as a verb, where the meaning was something like to make a formal speech to a group of people. So it is really crucial to give them contextual meaning. So I was really careful about this. The second is initial activities only on meaning and spelling. At the very beginning, I selected meaning and spelling for my student so that they feel comfortable, because this two, I mean, meaning and spelling were a little bit easier than synonymous word and sentence making. The next one is setting a limited target for slow learners. I mainly, I was really aware of asking slow learners less difficult word, or some keywords which were related to the passage. Therefore, so that my learners didn't quit or stop, participating. I always thought about it and was very careful. And if you want to implement this project, then you need to be very careful, because there are different categories of learners, and you need to consider all their levels, and according to their levels, you need to organize this Olympiad. Uh, the next point is keeping record of SS performance for later use. I mainly kept a record of high performers because I wanted to select. I wanted to select the team leader of different groups as well as the member, those who will compete, those who would compete in the team competition. I wanted to use portfolio, but sadly I couldn't. But I used some of the pages from attendance copies for keeping record of my students. I mean the best performers. Then the next one is monitoring and guiding the students. I was really critical about, I mean, in this area for two reasons. One is students were not habituated to this type of activity, and second one is since there was a huge and intense competition, peer or group rivalry was very visible. Therefore, I had to monitor their movement and guide them so that there wouldn't be any clash between the groups as well as the individual students. So let's begin. Before the real competition, there were some mock competitions that I arranged. During this mock competition, I actually wanted them to be familiarized with the rules and regulations, and then how to present themselves. The first one is here, as I have mentioned, declaring the rules. So they had to know how to answer the questions and how they are going to be marked. So as you can say on the see on the right side, for correct answer there were 2 marks, and incorrect and pressing the bell early there were 2 marks deduction. And if there is any deduction, if there is any marks deducted, the team in opposition would get the chance and to grab the 2 marks. So they needed to be very careful about it. I then training seniors to conduct the session as moderator. I selected 4 student from class 9 or grade 9. I actually wanted my student to run the whole session. I trained them so that they could run the session in the final round, and they did. Then I prepared them how to participate and present. Initially, what I did, I provided some common phrases and sentences so that they could use those phrases and sentences and present themselves in the mock competitions. For example, here you can say that you can see here that I am RS and I am the team leader of Shark. So this type of phrases I gave them. As I have already mentioned that they were not habituated to this type of competition, so um, they felt a bit uncomfortable, and they were a bit afraid. So for making them comfortable, I provided some common phrases and sentences. And during this competition, as you can see here, there were 4 teams in the semi-final rounds: Team Earth versus Team Jupiter, Team Shark versus Team Wild. And I actually conducted the first 1 or 2 and semi-final round during the class time and inside the class, because authority won't allow anyone to conduct this type of competition every day. So I actually, whenever any of my colleagues was absent, I took their class. I talked to my head teacher or assistant head teacher, sir, if there is anyone is absent, so please, if there is anyone absent, I want to take his or her class. So I took all the opportunities. And here comes the grand finale. There were 2 types of competition I arranged for the grand finale. One is multiple choice competition, and it was open for all. It was open for all. I wanted my slow learners to participate in these areas, and I didn't allow the advanced learners to participate in this competition. There were 15 multiple choice questions, and a student had to answer uh, the synonymous word as well as Bangla meaning. There was an option for spelling correction, and the next one, which was the most exciting, the team competition. There were two levels. The first level, I provided 10 words, and this whole competition, I mean, the grand finale was moderated, run by my student, not me. Actually, I trained them to arrange everything. So at level one, there were Bangla meaning as well as the spelling and synonymous word. And fortunately or unfortunately, the two team who participate in the final round, I mean the grand finale, there were, I mean, scores were equal. So the thing got more intense. Then we moved to another round, which is sentence making, and the rule was very strict because the students were not allowed to memorize the sentences from the textbook, and if they answered anything from the textbook, the answer would be considered as a wrong one, and they would just I mean they would be penalized. So they were very careful about it. And after that, yeah, uh, I just want to share one thing. If you arrange this competition, I mean throughout the sessions, uh, before the final round, you need to scaffold if and when necessary. And here comes the post task of my competition. I invited my head teacher, assistant head teacher, as well as two class teacher. To be very honest, initially I didn't invite my head teachers. Even I didn't talk about it to my head teacher as well as assistant teacher and other class teacher. I prepared my student, and when I found that they were performing the way I wanted, then I uh, let the other people know about the program. Then and to my utter surprise, that my student performed really well. They were really motivated. They were, I mean, really excited, and I was really happy the way they performed. And during the prize giving ceremony, my head teacher started to speak English. It was really surprising, even though his background is not English. He started to speak English and said that we want you to raise this sort of program later on. I mean, next year. And my assistant teacher requested me to allow the other student, so that allow other student in the competition. But unfortunately, the room was almost full, and I couldn't allow the other students. And I mean, we could hear the knocking on the door, on the doors as well as on the windows, and that's why I am planning to have it. Have it later on with other classes as well. And finally, we have the fest. Uh, and this was organized by my student. I just guided them, and they bought everything required for the fest. They arranged everything by themselves. I just guided them, nothing else. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that I'll be talking about this point, enhancing 21st century skills, student 21st century skills. Here, I have mentioned a definition which Jenna Buckle said has given in his A Comprehensive Guide to 21st Century Skills, where he says 21st century skills uh, refers to the knowledge, life skills, career skills, habits, and traits that are critically important to the student success in today's world, particularly as a student move on to college, the workforce, and adult life. Here, here you can see a list of 21st century skills. I have included two categories. There is another category. So the first one is learning skills. One here we can as we can see that um, there are critical thinking skills, creativity, then collaboration, then communication, and in a life skill category, there are flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. So all these skills actually help them to help the student to face the real world. Now, how did it work in our competition? Throughout the program, my students collaborate with their team members as well as the members of other teams. As a team leader, each team leader led their teams. They had to be very patient, follow the rules. They presented their answer and spoke in front of a huge number of audience. Therefore, they developed some of the 21st century skills throughout the program. Now, here is a list of challenges that one might face if one arranges this program. I mean, you might face this sort of program. First one is allocating time for it. I mean, for vocabulary Olympiad along with classroom learning. Um, what I did actually, I didn't have that much time. I mean, I had to take 4 classes, sometimes 5 classes. So I was exhausted sometimes, but I managed my time and I worked with them during my tiffin time, even before and after school time. And thus I just managed my time. Preparing the word list of the whole textbook is another burden, one might think, uh, because but I didn't give this task to my student, because if I gave them, they would be very surprised, because there are list of words, I mean hundreds words. So they might took as a this work as a burden. So I didn't give it to them, rather I did it, and I just let them just practice and involve in the activities. I believe that later on, if I just tell them to search the word, they will do. Definitely, they will do. They are so motivated now. But I didn't give this one initially, because, as I have mentioned, that they were not habituated to this sort of activities. Involving other stakeholders, I mean the head teacher, assistant teacher, and other class teachers is a really difficult task. That I have already mentioned that initially I didn't involve any stakeholder. I mean, I didn't talk to my head teacher, assistant head teacher, and when I found that the students were really motivated, and then I actually involved them in the competition, and I invite some other teachers to just come and see what was going on inside that hall room. Another challenge is keeping record of the student. uh, uh, during my initially, as I have mentioned, that initially I wanted to use portfolio, but I couldn't manage my time, so I just wrote down wrote down their names in the attendance copy. I used some of the pages from the attendance copy. So it might be challenging, and you must keep on recording. Otherwise, a student will raise the question that, sir, I answered more than her or him. So why did you select him or her? Why not me? So so they will be demotivated. We need to be very careful about this. The second one is managing students. As I have mentioned, there was an intense competition, so peer and group rivalry was very visible. I had to monitor and guide them. So it's pretty challenging to manage the student of a large class. I mean large classroom. There are more than 80 students, so it's pretty challenging. And another thing, I was not prepared for this. I never thought about it, emotional health of the student during this competition. One thing I just want to share, and I was not prepared for it actually. During the semifinal round, one team lost and the team leader started to cry. The way she started to cry uh, made the other student to cry with her, because she wanted the cup, she wanted the first prize, but unfortunately his team lost. And finally, I approached her and made her understand and promised we are going to have another competition next year, so just calm down. And last but not the least, let's find the bell. uh, it was pretty challenging, as I have mentioned earlier, that I live in a very remote area. So I wanted to give them a flavor of competition. So I was searching for this bell. As you can see, it's a pretty shiny, because I have just downloaded from internet. But the one I found after searching for a long time, for a couple of days actually, it was not that much, this much shiny. It was a very old one. It was in the garage, and I was really lucky to have that one. I was really excited to have that one, to be very honest. So if anyone wants to arrange this type of vocabulary competition, he or she must be very aware. Before the final round, even before the final round, 2 months or 3 months, 2 months before the final round, he or she should arrange everything, for the competition. Otherwise, you might not find the tools that you required to perform, the competition. And now I'm going to share some of my student feedbacks, as well as a very short clip from the competition. And I'm sorry for my poor editing skills, and I have just compiled it. I am not an expert in editing. However, I'm just going to run it. If you can't hear, just knock me. So the last word is sleep. Sleep. What is the synonym of this word? What is the spelling of this word? What is the Bengali meaning of this word? Honey. So I would like to স্পেলিং এবং সেন্টেন্স লিখতে আমাদের পরীক্ষাতে লেখা এবং বলাতে অনেক সাহায্য করেছে। So there were some other participants, but I uh, couldn't include all. And here is the final thought. Sir Ken Robinson says, Ken Robinson is a very prominent educator and a prolific speaker. In his book, Creative School, chapter 5, in chapter 5, Art of Teaching, he says, the best teachers are not only instructor, they are mentors, guides who can raise the confidence of their students, help them find a sense of direction and empower them to believe in themselves. So my goal was to empower my student and make them believe in themselves. That is what I tried throughout the program. And this is all for today. If you have got any questions, so you can ask. Dhonnobad সকলকে. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, Rajan Mahmood, for your nice and effective presentation. Now we would like to start our question and answer session. There is actually no more question. Here is only one question that you have written in chat box. If you have any more question, please write it on chat box.
Okay.
Here is the only one question.
Should I start
What was
answering?
No, I mean, yeah, Noreen asked few questions. I
Yes.
pasted it in the chat box.
Yes, yes.
So should I start answering the questions, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Actually, they belong to grade 8. I mean middle section, and yes, it was a mixed level of students, as I've mentioned in my presentations. I actually categorize different activities from different level of students. Then the next question is, do you think introduction of the vocabulary games and activity which you did in the classroom helped them to improve their vocabulary and increase their motivation to learn vocabulary? Yes. The answer is really yes, because they have just attended their final exam and they shared their views, sir. It was really excellent. Their exam was really excellent because of knowing the vocabulary. And another thing, as I mentioned in my speech, that there was a huge competition, so everyone learned the word. I mean, those who actually participate in the team competition, they learned the words, and they also learned how to use the words in real life context. So definitely, I found the motivation in them, and they learned the words wonderfully and effectively, definitely. Thank you, Noshin Madam, for asking the questions. If you have got any more question, you can ask.
Actually, here is already another question before Noshin, Madam. Here, what is the level and what is the mixed level of students? And do you think that game-like activities to introduce vocabulary help you to increase, motivate to learn vocabulary?
Actually, Madam, Naid sir has already copied down the same questions. So I have already answered all the questions. We have got another question from Mahadev sir. Did the Olympiad hamper normal learning flow in the learning flow in the class that was necessary to fulfill the curriculum target? Thank you, sir, for asking this question. And I mentioned in my presentation, and once again, I'm just going to answer. I I took some extra classes as well as I give them. I worked with them before and after the class, even during the tiffin time. I maintained the main target and curriculum target. Along with that, I arranged this vocabulary Olympiad. So I didn't find any hindrance of achieving the curriculum target for just arranging this vocabulary Olympiad. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajan sir. Actually, we can't cover all of this question. If any question you have, please write it on our BD Facebook page. So that's the end of today's question and answer session. Now, actually, in this webinar, the presenter has shared how well design textbooks-based vocabulary Olympiad can help our learners to get engaged in learning new vocabulary. He also shared some statement how to implement this project with minimum and low-cost resources in Bangladeshi schools. Thank you, sir. Now, we would like to request Sir Nahid Ferdous Bhuiyan to say something in this webinar and conclude our session, please. Over to you, Nahid, sir.
Thank you, madam. And I'd like to thank Rajan Mahmood, sir, for his nice presentation. And as you can see, the title of this webinar series, here we would like to bring out the best practice that our teacher often do in their classrooms. I would like to request other teachers also across the country to share their best practice with us so that we can arrange some webinar for the other teacher and other teacher will be benefited. So if you have this type of practice that you are implementing in your class, please share with us and please share with all the teachers in the country so that our English language teaching practice will be improved. And as you know, tomorrow we have also another webinar, and this webinar will be conducted by Andrew, who has been working as a teacher trainer at British Council, Dhaka. And the title of this webinar is on competency-based curriculum. And also he will share the way we can use competency-based curriculum in our English class. So thank you. Thank you all for joining. And I would like to request you to follow our Facebook page. And we are planning to arrange some more events for you. And thank you all. And over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your nice speech. Again, I thank all of you for joining with us and stay with us. Wish you good luck, and today's webinar is going to stop now. Thank you.